In this segment, we're going to cover Metro Super Erecta with the Metro Seal 3 finish. It is a wire shelving product, very universal, used everywhere from dry environments through wet environments. Originally, the finish itself was designed for the walk-in coolers and freezers. It offers corrosion protection at a fraction of the price of stainless steel, and thus it adds great value to the operator. Metro Seal 3 is a two-stage finish. Over the bare steel, you have a zinc substrate, and on top of that, an epoxy powder. It's a very hard, durable finish, resists impact, and as a result, we do offer a 12-year warranty against rust on Metro Seal 3. In addition, we incorporate an antimicrobial into the finish that stays with it for the life of the product. Microban antimicrobial product protection is built into the Metro Seal 3 finish and lasts for the life of the product. It's designed to inhibit the growth of microorganisms like mold, mildew, fungus, and bacteria that can cause a foodborne illness. While we can't claim that we prevent foodborne illnesses, we in fact at least build into the product an additional benefit to the customer. So if they're cleaning it on a regular basis and if they leave a slight residue of food, the microban itself will help them by basically preventing the bacteria from multiplying over time. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create a safer environment for the operators, and microban helps us achieve that. Let's look at the construction of the shelf next. It's a one-piece shelf design, all welded construction. The mat wires run front to back, and that's to help with the loading and unloading of contents on and off a shelf. The shelves actually can be repositioned at every 1 inch or 25 millimeters along the height of the post. It's a rather simple process of adjustment. I have a few props here to help demonstrate how this works. You'll notice the post itself is grooved, as I mentioned, and each of these split sleeves that would attach where the collar is easily connects to the post via a little rib or a bead on the inside of the sleeve itself. So you're basically snapping it in position, sliding it down until you hear that click. I'll do it again. And then you're putting the mating sleeve in place. Now, when configuring the unit, there are several visual aids that help the installer. First visual aid is the fact that this little window on the sleeve itself can be aligned with the number on the post. So this window would be rotated. I'd find my number, in this case number 11. If that's where I want it, I would then mate the other part, and thus my sleeve is in place ready for the shelf with its tapered collar to be dropped over the top and put in position. Tapered sleeve, post, shelf with tapered collar, all coming together and forming a nice secure fit. As far as other visual aids, you have the numbers, and you also have a double groove every 8 inches along the post. Working with longer shelves in particular, when you have multiple folks, one on each end, it's very easy for communication to occur back and forth. If someone is putting the split sleeve on and they indicate to their colleague, I'm putting it on so that there's one groove exposed below the double. As a reference point, it's easy to locate the shelves then without having to look at the number on the post associated with that position. So that visual aid makes assembly even easier for the installers. I mentioned earlier that this is a very universal shelving product, and that's very true about how you configure your stationary and mobile units. The same shelf is used in both cases. One shelf used on a stationary model or when configuring a mobile shelving unit or cart. There are some important things to remember, however, when installing the bottommost shelf. On a stationary model, you want to allow enough clearance below the shelf for a mop to clean the floors. So typically that is around the groove position 7 or 8, and then it could be as high as roughly groove position 14. You don't really want to go beyond that, especially when heavily loading the unit. You want that shelf positioned at a location where you can ensure the overall structural integrity of the stationary model. Now, for mobile shelving, you have to expect that these carts could cross thresholds on a regular basis. We require that the bottommost shelf is installed at the bottom groove on a mobile post, so that when contacting that threshold, the overall unit has good structural integrity and can withstand the impact. You don't want to leave a large gap between the caster and your lowest possible shelf.